Climate change has been a growing issue in the past few decades. I'm here in the Lake District to discuss with a couple of people from the Lake District Ski Club and National Parks about the impact of climate change. Climate change is damaging our planet in numerous ways, but there is one hobby that is in danger of being affected beyond repair. Skiing is suffering from a warmer planet, and in this video I hope to illuminate not just the effect of the way we live our lives has on the polar ice caps and the planet as a whole, but also one of the most popular extreme sports hobbies. Here we can see the increase of average temperature in the UK since 1980, rising by 0.18 degrees per decade. And with this higher temperature comes rising sea levels and therefore upward habitat migration. And with this, we are seeing the gradual shrinking of the upland in our countryside, which means less snow and less skiing. I myself am concerned with what the future holds for not only the precious countryside we have left, but also UK skiing in general, as skiing spots are already scarce. I met with the Lake District Ski Club president, Mike Sweeney, to find out in what ways the sport of skiing is being affected by the changes in climate. Hi Mike, thanks for joining me today. For those who don't know who you are, please tell us a bit about yourself and what your role is.
My name's Mike Sweeney. I am a committee member with the Lake District Ski Club. I'm just coming to the end of my term as president, and I help a lot with communications and other duties for the club. The Lake District Ski Club was formed by climbers in 1936, which means we predate resorts like the Three Valleys and Verbier. So we're very much a part of the history of skiing and of Lake District life. We're unique in that it requires a good hour's climb just to get to the single toe we operate north of Helvellyn. And navigation can be a challenge, especially if it clags in, as it often does, of course, in the Lake District. So there's a challenge getting there. There's also a challenge skiing because we don't have the Peace Basher. We get what nature provides, which minimises our impact on the environment, and it means conditions are always different every time you go up there. So there's always something new.
From your perspective, what impact is climate change having on the ski industry and what challenges are you experiencing?
Well, if we look at traditional resort skiing, first of all, there is less snow and it's more unpredictable. It used to be that in the Alps and other major ski areas, snow would arrive at the beginning of winter and you could ski throughout. Now, it's not so much the case.
And do you think the ski industry could be contributing to climate change, and if so, in what ways?
Yeah, clearly it does contribute to climate change in the way that all human activity does. First of all, you have the infrastructure on the slopes, the lifts, the snow cannon, and so on, which take energy to build and to operate. Then you have the resorts themselves, many of which are purpose-built, and things like hotels. You have the ski equipment manufacture, and perhaps most of all you have the travel. A lot of people go to skiing by flying or by driving long distances, and all of this has an impact.
As president of the Lake District Ski Club, how does your organisation fit into this picture?
Well, if we look at, again, ski resorts first, they are taking steps to minimise their impact through things like more use of solar energy and other renewables, by slowing lifts down when they're not busy, and by minimising the use of snowmaking equipment. And individuals, I think, are making an effort in some cases by looking for more eco-friendly ways of travelling. As a club, as a ski club in the Lake District, we have a pretty minimal impact. We have a single tow, which uses about a gallon of diesel per day. We encourage lift sharing with members using an app called Slack. And we also help repair the damage that's been done by climate change. So when Storm Desmond hit the Lake District in 2017, I think it was, we spend a lot of time repairing tracks that have been swept away or otherwise damaged by the floods. So we do put effort back into the community, and we intend to continue doing this.
It's been very interesting to hear what you've had to say. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Joe.
While ski clubs around the world can help as much as possible, it is a never-ending struggle to counteract global pollution. This spells danger for smaller communities such as the Tyrol region of Austria, where 15% of the economic revenue is from skiing. As temperatures rise due to global warming, the ski season could be cut by up to a month each year. Resorts may turn to snowmaking, but this is expensive and energy intensive, contributing to the global problem. To get a better understanding of the countryside that's being affected, I spoke with someone who works very closely with the land itself, the Chief Executive of the National Park here in the Lake District, Richard Leafe, to find out what's happening to the wilderness. Hi Richard, for those who aren't aware of your work, tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I'm Richard Leafe and I'm the Chief Executive of the Lake District National Park Authority, which is the small government organisation that's charged with looking after the Lake District National Park.
And in your time in this role, what have you seen change in the national parks due to climate change?
I've been totally astounded at how much I've seen in just the short space of 15 years that I've been doing the job in the national park around the climate. I think the biggest impact has been that of floods, and we've seen some truly devastating floods in the national park, of which the last really big one was Storm Desmond in 2015, which devastated the place, flooded thousands of homes, created more than £10 million worth of damage to the public rights of way in the national park, which we are charged with looking after. In addition to that, I'd say the other thing is the increase in temperatures we've seen, and particularly in the lakes. And we're here by the shore of Windermere, and the surface waters of Windermere have warmed by more than 1.8 degrees during the last 10 years, which is a huge amount of warming, and makes things like blue-green algae blooms and life for fish in the lake far more difficult as a result of that.
Moving forward, how do you feel we could better tackle these major catastrophes?
So I think we have to go to work on two things. First of all, we have to make sure we do all we can to reduce our emissions and decarbonise as quick as possible. More electric vehicles, more heat pumps, get people more active in the way they move around the national park, and insulate as much of the existing properties as we can, which is quite a challenge in old buildings such as this beautiful hotel we're in here. But as well as that, we also have to adapt the park for the climate change that we already have and what we're going to be seeing in the next few years, particularly to flooding, which is one of the main things that we're seeing. And that involves changing land management in the high fells so that they absorb more water and soak up more water and pass it more slowly into streams and rivers, which have the potential to flood people's properties. That involves restoring peat bogs, planting more trees, allowing the vegetation to grow longer, all of which is great for biodiversity and might ultimately help reduce the impact of some of the most severe storms that we've seen in the last few years.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your time, Richard. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you and good luck.
Climate science can be a useful aid to help ski areas and the ski industry to understand what is at stake in uncertain times and to be able to take decisions that are sustainable. But in order to make real change, the science needs to be made more accessible and understandable. Improved communication between scientists, leisure and tourism specialists like ski resort personnel is needed for adaptation and flexible decision making. Without this, it may be a struggle for skiers to acclimatise to necessary changes.